So per UFC Unfiltered and the MMA heads and MMA ideas, but Beneil Dariush vs Arman Tsarukyan has been added to the UFC event in Austin on December 2nd. This card is fucking insane, man. This card's actually, like, I was talking about how December is going to be a crazy month for the UFC. You know, this card's got Rob Font versus Davison Figueiredo, Jared Cannonier versus Roman Dolidze, Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum, Khalil Roundtree versus Azamat Murzakanov. Then it's got Clay Guida versus Joaquim Silva, uh, Selecki versus Close, Steve Garcia versus Melquizela Costa's a good fight. Even Turman versus Gooden should be good. And I also know what the main event is, which is a real banger fight. You know, I don't think I'm allowed to say who it is, but I do know who the main event is for this card, and it's going to be a really good fight. It's a fight that both men have called for, and it is going to main event it. All I'm going to say, it's in the lightweight division, but I'm sure that one will be announced soon enough. But yeah, this card's crazy. But I wanted to give my prediction for Arman Tsarukyan versus Beneil Dariush in this fight. Like, looking at it stylistically, a lot of people are probably going to not be on Arman Tsarukyan as much because he did get rocked against Joaquim Silva, which, in my opinion, is a bit of a stupid reason to, like, base that on this whole fight. And then maybe a lot of people will say, well, Beneil Dariush, he got knocked out cold by Charles Oliveira. That means he's going to get chinned his next fight. You know, like, recency bias is a bitch in this sport. People are just going to pick this with recency bias. But in my opinion, I'm not basing this on their last fights. Like, the more and more I think about this fight, like, I'm really am leaning towards Beneil Dariush here. Like, Tsarukyan might just be able to out-athlete him. He is more athletic. But Dariush has got some really good takedown defense. Like, we've seen it against Gamrot. Gamrot could not get this guy down. He destroyed Gamrot. I'd say, even though I thought Arman Tsarukyan did beat Gamrot in their fight, Beneil Dariush beat Gamrot way better. Obviously, 3-rounder versus 5-rounder, but he dominated Gamrot. It wasn't even close. Like, he beat the shit out of Gamrot. Well, Tsarukyan did have a very close fight with him. I still thought Arman should have won that, but it was very close. I generally think Beneil Dariush can get this one done. Arman Tsarukyan's striking is not that great. Like, honestly, it's not. He has really good wrestling, but I don't like his striking. His defense is a bit shaky. If Beneil Dariush lands one of them big shots like he landed on Mateus Gamrot, he could drop him. He could literally maybe get him out of there. Like, I'm not just basing this on Joaquim Silva dropping him or rocking him, like I said. But I think Beneil Dariush has a lot of ways to win. I'd say he's got the better cardio. This is going to be a 3-rounder, to the best of my knowledge. Maybe they've changed things up and this will be the main event now, but I got to go with Beneil Dariush. Like, the more I think about it, now obviously I could be completely wrong here. Maybe Dariush is just done now after getting knocked out by Charles, but I think he's got it in him to win this. I think Arman Tsarukyan's good, but his striking, I think this is going to be a striking fight. And obviously, Dariush didn't look that great in the striking, but he was against fucking Charles Oliveira. What do you expect? Charles Oliveira is a great striker. He's powerful. You know, he knocks people out cold. He's got some weird power. Like, this is the guy who slumped Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje said he couldn't move his body, like, when he got knocked down. He said it was the most powerful punch he's ever taken. And Justin Gaethje's got like 28 professional bouts or something like that. Like, he's got a long ass resume. He's fought some of the greats, and he said that about Charles Oliveira. So it just tells you how fucking powerful and good of a striker Charles Oliveira is. So I'm not going to factor that in too much to this fight because, like I said, it's Charles Oliveira. He's a much better striker than Arman Tsarukyan, in my opinion. Tsarukyan's strikings are very wild. Like I say, he's a very good fighter. He's a good prospect. He's very young still. I don't even know if you can call him a prospect since he is very highly ranked. But, you know, he is a very good fighter. He's going to improve. Maybe we're going to see some rapid improvements from Arman Tsarukyan here. But just from what I've seen, even in that Gamrot fight and against Joaquim Silva, I don't know if he's going to be ready for a Beneil Dariush. I know he had a really competitive fight with Islam Makhachev. Don't get me wrong. I know that was really competitive. but that's just a styles versus matchup sort of thing, you know. And that was a different version of Islam too. That was before Islam really like fixed his striking. You know, like Islam's got really good boxing. Like he's actually got really good hands. I would pick Islam Makhachev in a rematch against Arman Tsarukyan. I think that he would be able to stuff the takedowns from Arman, and I think it'd be a striking fight. And I favour Islam Makhachev so much more because I think he's got much better striking than Arman. Like Arman's great. I'm not shitting on Arman Tsarukyan. Like he is a very good fighter. I just don't think his striking's that good at this moment. Like he's got some power, but most of the time he's getting decision wins. And even his win against Damir Ismagulov was pretty, like, it wasn't as good as Grant Dawson's performance. And we've seen Grant Dawson go out there and get slumped out cold by Bobby Green. Obviously, that just speaks to the stylistic matchup between Bobby Green and Grant Dawson. And maybe Grant Dawson's chin's not the best, but still, his wrestling arguably is better than Arman Tsarukyan's because he's, like I say, went out there and dominated Damir like he was nobody. And Arman was actually struggling to get Damir down at points. So maybe Damir just didn't properly train for that fight or something, or maybe Arman Tsarukyan's just not that like prolific with his takedowns like we thought he was. Maybe because you know I'd say Beneil Dariush probably has better takedown defense than Damir Ismagulov. Damir's got really good takedown defense. I'm not taking that away from him, but I think like Beneil Dariush has some of the best takedown defense, especially in that fight against Gamrot. Like that might be one of the best parts of his game. And I think we could see Arman Tsarukyan gas out here going for takedown after takedown and not being able to get anything. And I think with how powerful Beneil Dariush can be, I could see him rocking, damaging, and just beating up Arman Tsarukyan a little bit here and getting a win based on damage. Even then, I think if Arman, because we have seen Arman slow down a few times, if it's a real high-paced fight, I rate Beneil Dariush's cardio more here. I could see him getting out of a position, getting a top mount or something, like landing on top of Arman Tsarukyan, maybe throwing up a sub or something. He has really good submissions, really good jiu-jitsu. I can see him teeping to the body as well to slow down Arman Tsarukyan. I really do just like this stylistic matchup for Beneil Dariush. Now, maybe his chin's not going to be the same after that Charles Oliveira loss. Who knows? Maybe Arman Tsarukyan just goes in there and chins him. But outside of Christos Gargios, we haven't really seen him possess like one-punch power to go knock somebody out. So, I like this is a very interesting stylistic matchup. But I'm honestly, like I say, I got to go with Beneil Dariush here. I could be wrong here. Like, you know, after that Charles Oliveira loss, maybe Beneil Dariush is broken. Maybe he's not as confident in his abilities. Maybe we're going to see a completely different Beneil Dariush show up. But if the Beneil Dariush that fought Mateusz Gamrot shows up, I think he wins this fight all day. Obviously, that sounds like a cop-out for me, but that's just how I see this fight. If he shows up like he did against Mateusz Gamrot, he gets it done. That's what I mean from this. Like, if he shows up with that level of takedown defense, that viciousness in his striking, you know, if he can crack Arman like he cracked Gamrot, I see him getting it done. But it's a tough fight. But yeah, I'd imagine Beneil Dariush is probably going to be an underdog here. So I reckon it's actually worth putting a little bit of a bet on him. You know, I'm not saying go bet your house on Beneil Dariush. It's still a tough stylistic matchup. Arman Tsarukyan's a younger fighter. He's going to improve. But if we see Arman, like the same Arman who fought like Damir Ismagulov and fought Joaquim Silva, then I think Beneil gets this done. But again, like I say, he's much younger. He could go in there, rapidly improve. We could see K1 Arman Tsarukyan in there. Fucking Bangkok ready Arman Tsarukyan in there. He could come out like Khalil Roundtree and just start destroying the fucking legs of Beneil Dariush, start fucking oblique kicking him, knock him out cold or something like that. Like we could see a mythical fighter show up here, but I do doubt that is the case here for Arman Tsarukyan. But you know, anything's possible in this sport, man. I wouldn't fucking surprise me. But yeah, like honestly, it's a good fight though. Like I say, December 2nd is going to be insane. That December is going to be such a good month. Hopefully they add some really sick fights to the China card, like I say. Hopefully the Leech is ready to return or something. I'd love to see the Leech get a fight. You know, he's the one of the biggest stars in Chinese MMA. So hopefully he's healed up from all his injuries and they can get him on the card in December. And yeah, I reckon that December is going to be one of the greatest months this year because those two of them cards are looking great, and the Chinese card's not even close to being done yet. So should be a good month. 2 months away, so there's still a bunch of fights they could add. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you give it a like. Let me know your thoughts on Arman Tsarukyan versus Beneil Dariush. Let me know what your prediction is. And if you're not already, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.